The sky above Viridia Prime was a tapestry of violet and indigo, streaked with the luminescent trails of twin suns setting on the horizon. Suspended high above the planet's bioluminescent forests floated the Nexus Academy, an architectural marvel of translucent spires and floating terraces, its walls pulsing with soft cerulean light. For the new class of cadets, drawn from distant star systems, this was both summit and crucible. A Lev car swept into the central docking port, disgorging a motley procession of students. First came the Solutians, their slender forms draped in shifting robes of liquid iridescence. Bioluminescent patterns swept across their skin like living constellations, each flicker betraying a spectrum of curiosity, awe, and apprehension. Behind them lumbered the Branthors, massive hulking figures whose iron-like carapaces clinked softly with every step. Their 4 eyes set in ridged brows surveyed the Academy's grand atrium with solemn respect. Lastly emerged the Quarrels, amphibious and lithe, their webbed fingers trailing faint ripples in the air as they moved. Their skin, a mosaic of teal and emerald scales, shimmered under the Academy's glow. At the center of the atrium stood Dr. Mara Ellison, the Academy's human xenopsychology instructor. She exuded calm authority, her posture straight, her dark hair tied in a neat braid that fell over the shoulder of her tailored Academy jacket. With a warm, steady voice, she addressed the crowd. "Welcome to Nexus Academy, cadets," she began, stepping forward. Tall crystalline pillars surrounded her, reflecting fragments of her image back at itself in kaleidoscopic arrays. "You've traveled light years to be here. Your worlds have entrusted you with their brightest hopes and highest expectations. Here, you'll learn to harness not only your unique talents, but the power of empathy and cooperation." A murmur rippled through the students. Many had trained their entire lives for this moment, yet none had faced anything quite like the grand atrium's dizzying expanse. Panels of holographic stars hovered overhead, mapping the Academy's network of allied outposts. Distant galaxies glowed like pinpricks of promise. Dr. Ellison gestured to a set of doorways carved into the far wall. Their frames were lit by pale blue glyphs, ancient Viridian script signifying virtual dome. "Our first orientation exercise awaits you there," she said. "Inside, you will encounter the Academy's flagship simulation, the simulation Beast." At the mention of the Beast, the Silosian's glowing constellations dimmed slightly. A Branthor blinked all 4 eyes, its exoskeleton plates rattling. A Quarrel's melodic voice whispered to its neighbor, "I've heard legends. They say even veterans struggle to stay calm." Dr. Ellison smiled reassuringly. "Remember, this is a training environment. No harm will come to you unless you allow panic to overtake your better judgment. You will learn from this." A hush fell as the students formed a loose line, each species grouping among themselves. The human lieutenant exchange cadet, Kai Novak, lingered at the back. He was tall and wiry, with pale skin freckled from hours under Earth's sun. His uniform bore the insignia of the Terran Alliance, a twin spiral galaxy flanked by 2 laurel branches. Though the only human among 70 inquisitive aliens, Kai felt surprisingly at ease. He frowned briefly at the comlink buzzing on his wrist. An automated welcome message confirming all life support settings were optimized. He switched it to silent and joined the procession. As the line moved forward, the atrium's crystalline panels dropped away to reveal a curved corridor. Soft hums resonated through the underfoot transparent floor, and the air grew cooler, tinged with a faint ozone scent. Overhead, the holographic star field dissolved into a static projection of the Academy's schematics, indicating the dome lay just ahead. The students pressed closer, some out of eagerness, others out of apprehension. At last, They arrived before a pair of massive doors framed by living ivy-like tendrils that glowed with bioluminescent spores. The glyphs above shifted into multiple languages as each student passed: Silosian, Branthor, Querel, and Aquarian. When the doors slid open, a low, reverberating growl rolled from within the chamber. Steam wafted out, carrying the scent of damp earth and strange, unnameable flora. The archway's threshold shimmered like heat caught in a mirage. One by one, the students halted at the edge. Dr. Ellison fixed them with a look both encouraging and firm. Remember your training. Observe your instincts, but do not let them govern you. The Quarrels exchanged worried glances. The Silosian's glow flickered in nervous patterns. Among the Branthors, one young cadet, his tusked maw quivering, took a hesitant step forward, then retreated. Hearts thudding, minds racing with centuries of anecdote and horror story, the students froze. Kai Novak inhaled, feeling a rush of adrenaline. He glanced back once, meeting Dr. Ellison's unflinching gaze. She nodded almost imperceptibly. Kai squared his shoulders and, alone, took the first step into the unknown. Behind him, the vast doors whispered shut, sealing the line of cadets into the virtual dome. The growl deepened, no longer a distant echo but a presence at their backs breathing through the very air. And in that charged moment, as Kai disappeared into the mist, the alien students on the threshold understood. This was the beginning of an education unlike any they had known. The moment Kai Novak's boots touched the damp soil of the virtual dome, the world shifted around him. Mist curled at ankle height, backlit by phosphorescent fungi clinging to gnarled trunks. A heavy electric silence pressed in, broken only by the distant drip of condensation. Behind him, the alien students hesitated at the threshold, hesitated but did not retreat. Dr. Ellison's voice crackled softly in their comlinks. Stay alert. Observe the beast's patterns. Trust your senses, not your fear. Kai advanced into the bioluminescent thicket, the undergrowth brushing his shins. He raised his hand, triggering a holoscan on his wrist display. Simulation beast, size colossal, threat level extreme, behavioral matrix, adaptive predator. His breath caught. He glanced back. 4 species of cadets, grouped but terrified, each face alight with trepidation. A sudden rustle shattered the hush. Foliage parted, and the beast emerged in full form. Its quadruped frame was sheathed in segmented plates that pulsed with emerald veins of light. Tendrils sprouted along its spine, each tipped with barbed nodes that unfurled like living whips. From its maw spilled a low guttural growl that reverberated deep in Kai's chest. A Silosian student, Nivi, stumbled backward, the glow in her patterns flickering nervously. A Branthor raised its massive claw in a defensive gesture. A Quarrel emitted a high-pitched chirrup of alarm, webbed hands trembling. Kai forced himself to inhale slowly. His voice was calm over the comlink. Remember, it's a program. Watch for its tells. He crouched behind a crystalline boulder, provoking only a sidelong glance from the beast. It paused, nostrils flaring as if scenting unfamiliar physics. The beast lurched forward, each step crushing glowing ferns. The ground beneath Kai shivered. He activated a hollow marker on the creature's forelimb. Now he could see stress indicators, red when it charged, blue when surveying. He called out, "When it lowers its head and plate veins dim, that's your window to move." Heartened by his poise, the alien cadets crept into the clearing. The Branthor, Joruk, inched parallel to Kai. The Quarrel, Shiri, hummed a soft warble that dampened the beast's growl, yet fear coursed through them like lightning. One wrong move and the simulation would ramp up to lethal force. As the beast reared its head and bellowed, Kai leapt to the side. A whip-like tendril lashed at empty air, shredding ferns where the Branthor once stood. Jorok froze in shock, eyes wide beneath chitinous ridges. Kai grabbed Jorok's arm. "Stay low. Move on my count." He pounded the ground twice. "Now." Together they sprinted between fractured trunks, the beast's heavy paws thundering in pursuit. Shiri, beeping in alarm, guided Nevi and two Solutians along a winding ridge, voices trembling but synchronized. They reached a small hollow. Jade, moss cushioned their breaths. The beast's form loomed at the entrance, one eye glowing bright. The simulation's growl deepened to a roar, testing their resolve. Kai raised a hand, planting his feet firmly. "Breathe. You're doing great." He whispered, "It's just a test of coordination." He spied a cluster of nutrient pods on his belt, voxels of simulated sustenance. If he could distract it, maybe they could regroup. Summoning courage, he stepped into the clearing, voice raised. "Hey, over here." The beast swiveled, its massive head turning with uncanny speed. Kai lobbed a pod. It arced through the phosphorescent air and bounced at the beast's feet. Curious, it sniffed, lower jaw pulsating. In that heartbeat, the alien. Students surged from hiding. The beast, tongue flicking, inhaled the aroma of the pod. Its dual pulsating veins softened to a tranquil teal. Kai exhaled, heart racing, not from fear but from triumph. Dr. Ellison's calm voice concluded, "Excellent adaptation, cadets. You've witnessed that even the fiercest mind can be swayed by a single act. Debrief in 5. As the holographic jungle dissolved, leaving only the attenuated hum of the dome's systems, the students realized that today they had learned something far greater than how to survive a simulation. They had learned to lead, and that perhaps was the greatest challenge of all. The dome's verdant canopy dissolved in fragments of emerald light, replaced by a cavernous chamber lined with crystalline stalactites. A single beam of pale blue illuminated the center, casting fractured rainbows across the mist-shrouded floor. The simulation beast emerged in full majesty, a hulking quadruped nearly twice the height of Kai Novak, its segmented armor plates rippling with veins of bioluminescent green. Tendrils arched from its spine, each tipped with barbs that glittered like dark gems. Its phosphorescent eyes, the color of molten jade, fixed upon the small group of cadets with predatory calculation. Kai's heart pounded, but outwardly he was calm. He crouched low, offering neither threat nor submissive glance, only stillness. Behind him, the alien students froze in a tense semicircle, fear etching their features. In that silence, the beast inhaled, a low rumble vibrating through the chamber floor. Dr. Ellison's voice crackled in their comlinks, steady and soothing. "Observe its ritual. Domesticated or wild, all creatures respond to consistency. Kai, you know the simulation parameters. Offer the ration." Kai's fingers closed around the small satchel strapped to his thigh. Inside lay 3 nutrient bars synthesized with Trintavian protein gel, a treat calibrated to intrigue even the most voracious predator program. He pressed a button to seal the satchel's mouth, then rose slowly to his full height, arms unclenched at his sides. "Hey, there," he called softly, voice resonant but gentle. He took a deliberate step forward, eyes level with the beast's, its head tilted, an unprogrammed gesture, born of genuine curiosity in this advanced AI environment. The chamber shuddered as it shifted its massive weight, the floor fissuring with each ponderous step. Tendrils flexed, ready to strike, but the beast did not charge. Kai's breath caught. He opened the satchel and pulled out one of the bars, cradling it in his palm. The bar's casing glowed faintly, infused with olfactory, Stimulants designed to pique any predatory simulation's interest. Just a snack, Kai murmured as though offering peace. He extended his hand, arm trembling ever so slightly. Whether from adrenaline or excitement, he couldn't tell. The beast lowered its head, its near-translucent muzzle hovering half a meter away. Its eyes blinked once, then slowly, twice, the flickering lights along its plates shifting from alarmed red to cautious amber. Time stretched. Behind Kai, the alien cadets pressed closer, watching with wide eyes. Nivi the Silosian let her bioluminescent constellations dim to a pale blue, in quiet solidarity. Joruk the Branthor gripped his vambrace, ready, but restrained. Shiri the Quarrel hummed a low warble, her webbed fingers poised over her resonance. Pods just in case. The beast leaned forward, nostrils flaring. It sniffed the bar, each inhalation sending tiny sparks of light along its cheekbones. Its growl softened to a grunt of interest. Kai's pulse thundered. He braced himself and offered the bar flat on his palm. Slowly, ever so slowly, the beast's tongue, a scaly, segmented ribbon, flicked out. It touched the bar's edge, then recoiled. A ripple passed through its armor plating, the veins brightening as its neural algorithms recorded this new stimulus. It hesitated, then pressed forward again, taking the bar delicately between its massive jaws. The crate of simulated flesh yielded with a crackle of nutrient gel. A triumphant silence, then a soft rumble emanated from deep within the beast's chest. It crunched the bar, and for a moment, Kai could see satisfaction flicker across its glowing eyes. He let out a breath he hadn't realized he'd been holding. Carefully, he withdrew his hand. Dr. Ellison's voice came through, warm with genuine pride. Well done, Kai. You've established a positive reinforcement loop, exactly what we aim for. Kai offered the second bar, and the beast accepted it almost eagerly this time. Its body relaxed, tendrils drooping slightly. Kai's shoulders loosened. Around him, the alien cadets exhaled in unison, emboldened. Nivi stepped forward tentatively, offering a small vial of bioluminescent spores. The beast sniffed again, then nuzzled the vial, dispersing faint motes of azure light into the air. Joruk then approached with a piece of crystalline ore, its facets catching the beam above. The beast's eyes followed the sparkles with childlike curiosity. Shiri hummed a gentle chord on her pods, and the chamber thrummed in harmony with the beast's purr-like vibrations. In that moment, predator and prey dissolved into companions of circumstance. Kai crouched beside the beast, resting a hand on its flank. The armor plating felt warm, almost reassuring. See? He whispered to the cadets. Compassion first. Intelligence second. Behind him, Dr. Ellison watched through the dome's spectator feed, pride shining in her eyes. In the hazy glow of the chamber, the students realized they had not simply pacified a simulation beast. They had forged understanding where others saw only danger. And by doing so, they learned that leadership was not the roar of authority, but the gentle offer of food and friendship. As the soft hum of the dome systems reverberated around them, the chamber's crystalline stalactites faded into mist. The simulation shifted seamlessly. They now stood at the edge of a broad clearing beneath an alien twilight sky. The air, alive with floating spores that glowed like drifting lanterns. The simulation beast, now calm and curious, loitered near Kai, its massive frame illuminated by the spore's gentle light. Dr. Ellison's voice guided them over the comlinks. You've seen how a single act of kindness can disarm even the fiercest opponent. Now work together. Offer it gifts of your own culture. The cadets exchanged tentative glances. Nivi, her Silosian glow restored to a soft, elegant pattern, extended a slender hand clutching bioluminescent spores in a crystalline vial. With a graceful nod, she sprinkled them across the clearing. The spores drifted toward the beast, settling on its plated back in delicate motes of light. The beast's eyes followed each speck, its ridged muzzle relaxing as it inhaled the soft scent. Encouraged, Jorok the Branthor stepped forward next. From a pouch at his waist he withdrew a piece of resonant ore, shard-like and iridescent. He placed it on a low rock and tapped it gently with a knuckle, producing a soft, melodious chime. The beast's ears, vestigial yet sensitive, pricked at the tone. It dipped its head listening before nudging the ore with its snout, sending chimes scattering across the mossy floor. Finally, Shiri the Quarrel gathered courage. She produced a small pod of algae-infused water, thick and luminescent. She held it aloft, then pressed a resonator button on her belt. A soft, rolling hum emerged, her people's version of song. The harmony swelled, and the algae water quivered in its container. The beast, responding to both sight and sound, dipped its head and let gentle droplets splash along its flank as though bathing in the melody. Kai watched, pride blooming in his chest. "Look at how it responds," he whispered into his comlink. "Each of you brought a piece of home and it recognized your goodwill." Dr. Ellison replied, "This is the heart of our curriculum, cross-cultural exchange, even with beings of code." The clearing felt transformed, a shared space where species and simulation converged. The beast, now surrounded by gifts of light, sound, and scent, emitted a low, contented rumble. Sporadic pulses of green light traveled along its veins, syncing with the cadets' offerings. "Let's approach," Kai suggested, slowly, together. Arm in arm, Silosian, Branthor, Quarrel, and Human, they stepped into the clearing, each carrying a token. Nivi offered fresh spores. Jorok brought a second ore shard. Shiri hummed another gentle chord. The beast lowered, its head to their level, allowing each to touch its warm, pulsing plate. A hush fell as their fingertips brushed the armor. In that moment, the dome's spectator feed blinked with astonished approval. The simulation's purpose, to test fear and reaction, had been eclipsed by genuine connection. Dr. Ellison's voice, tinged with pride, concluded, "Today you have shown that fear does not have to be met with force. Understanding builds bridges where walls once stood. This is how we shape the future of interstellar cooperation." Under the alien twilight, the cadets stood united, hearts and cultures intertwined. The simulation beast curled at their feet, no longer a foe but an emblem of newfound trust. And as the spores drifted down like peaceful fireflies, Nexus Academy's true lesson shone brightest. Empathy is the clearing's alien twilight gave way to the familiar glow of Nexus Academy's central atrium as the simulation dissolved around them. The simulation beast's holographic form flickered and dispersed like motes of dust caught in a gentle breeze, leaving behind only the soft hum of the dome's machinery. For a heartbeat, silence reigned before applause rippled through the cadets' comlinks, and then in the flesh, as they emerged blinking into the light. Dr. Mara Ellison stood, waiting, her arms folded but her smile wide. Kai Novak supported the beast's final shimmering image on his hollow display, showing the creature curled contentedly at their feet. Around him, Nivi, Jorok, and Shiri exchanged triumphant grins, their initial fear long since faded. "Welcome back," Dr. Ellison said, her voice echoing in the atrium's crystalline dome. "You've all just participated in one of our most challenging simulations, yet you didn't merely survive it. You transformed it." A murmur of agreement swept through the students. Jorok rapped a gloved knuckle against his helm in a salute of respect. "I expected a test of strength," he rumbled, "but found a lesson in humility." Shiri stepped forward, her voice soft but clear. "And in creativity." I never imagined my resonance pods could soothe, or that bioluminescent spores could be a gesture of friendship. Nevi's glowing constellations pulsed in time with her words. We came here fearful, yet through sharing our cultures, through kindness, we discovered a new kind of power. Kai cleared his throat, brushing back his dark hair. It started with food, he admitted, but it ended with understanding. When we learned to listen, to observe and adapt, we unlocked the beast's true nature. Dr. Ellison nodded, guiding them toward a semicircle of floating benches. That is the essence of xenopsychology, she explained as they seated themselves. Every species, even an advanced simulation, has motivations, fears, and communications waiting to be understood. Today you proved that empathy can tame the untamable. She tapped a control on her comlink, and a holographic replay illuminated the chamber walls. Highlights of their approach to the beast, the tension in the standoff, the moment Kai offered the nutrient bar, and finally, the collective gifts that sealed their bond. The replay paused on each cadet's face, reflecting courage in its many forms. As you continue your studies, Dr. Ellison continued, remember this. Technology can amplify our strengths, but it cannot replace genuine connection. Whether you negotiate peace treaties among star systems or lead rescue missions on hostile worlds, your greatest tool will always be empathy. The students sat in thoughtful silence. Outside, the Academy's twin suns dipped below Viridia Prime's horizon, painting the atrium in soft gold. The moment felt both an ending and a beginning. Jorik rose first, offering a deep bow. Thank you, Lieutenant Novak, he said, voice reverberating. Without your example, I would have never taken that first step. Shiri and Nivi echoed his gratitude, and Kai felt warmth spread through him. He looked to Dr. Ellison. I'm honored to have been part of this cohort, he said. Together, we've learned more about ourselves and each other than any datapad could teach. Dr. Ellison's eyes shone. This is only the start. Tomorrow you'll face more simulations, diplomatic negotiations, cosmic anomalies, ethical dilemmas. But if you carry today's lesson forward, I have no doubt you'll exceed every expectation. As the group dispersed, the atrium's crystalline pillars shivered with light. Kai lingered a moment, gazing back at the darkening sky. In his mind's eye, he saw the beast. No longer a mere test, but a reminder that every encounter holds the promise of understanding. And with that, he stepped forward into the next chapter of his journey, ready to lead with food, friendship, and the limitless power of empathy.